Well, it's finished. I defeated the Covenant, the Flood, and blew up the ring. Halo CE. What a wonderful, well-established game that will soon blow up to become one of Microsoft's most successful franchises, along with Gears of War in the Xbox. We are not talking about video games, though, but more about a typical genre, science fiction. The realm of science fiction is a fascinating place, filled with wonders, mystery, adventure, thrills, and horrors beyond our wildest dreams. The science genre is filled with numerous cult classics that are forever engraved within pop culture today. Franchises like Star Wars, Aliens, Terminator, or even Back to the Future. Today, here in the 21st century of the third millennium, more original works of sci-fi are still presented today here on the big screen, as what people would say today, peak fiction. Science fiction not only became a source of entertainment, but a source of inspiration among the scientific community. Sci-fi has laid out the predictional groundwork of how we first came up with satellites, the moon landing, cell phones, 3D printing, and antidepressants, all in the form of entertainment media. But it doesn't mean sci-fi authors are way more intelligent than actual scientists, but more creative, using their imagination to imagine a possibility into human innovation which aspires real-world scientists to replicate and perfect. It doesn't have to apply to just sci-fi, but to several other sources outside of fiction. Take instance, back in the 17th century, a scientist by the name of Robert Boyle wrote a list containing different ideas for innovation that can benefit a society, called Boyle's List. It was more of a wish list, which led many scientists to replicate those ideas and make them real. Science fiction can be great sometimes, but it also tends to mislead the audience when it comes to fiction than fact. They mostly overshadow the science behind the plot in favor of the dramatic storytelling. Specifically, movies like Jurassic Park are considered to be unrealistically proven because there's no way scientists can clone a dinosaur all by looking at an embryosat. Plus, the technology to even clone such a specimen is out of reach or is impossible. These itty-bitty misconceptions are plaguing the logical understanding of how science works. As concerns about how overshadowing scientific concepts in fiction to confuse the audience are displayed in many forms, it can be confusing to actual researchers or people in this case. Which is why when new films or television shows are in production, there are consultants, in this case science consultants, whose main job is to make sure the film stands correct and doesn't overshadow the real-world implications on reality. One example of a science consultant is James Calcalois, a distinguished professor in the School of Physics and Astronomy at the University of Minnesota. He served as a science consultant for DC's hit 2007 film Watchmen. Science consultants are usually found in credits of specific films or TV shows, though sometimes they won't get listed in the credits, but in magazines. Mostly, fictional films serve as a virtual witnessing technologies that portray natural phenomena in order to get the audience into believing this can happen in the real world. Scientific fictional media is a very memorable and well-respected genre filled with so much originality and potential in the entertainment industry. There's a lot you can do with it, and it's just a matter of imagination and creativity anyone can muster up in the old noggin. Though it's just the same as any other genre in fictional media, it's one that has the greatest stories ever told in front of audiences. If you want to experience what it's like going to space, then there's a boatloads of films anyone can explore. But it's also a genre filled with not just fun sci-fi action, but the realistic implications on such phenomena existing in our reality, how we can replicate and make it real within our world. To not better or launch humanity in a future for the better, but to establish dreams that were once written in a list by a 17th century scientist who wished for certain technological innovations that can one day make the impossible possible. By the way, sorry for the long wait. I know I've been radio silent for the past few months, but I'm trying to release anything new or just make something original for once. So no more projects. I'll try to make original animated content or skits. But yeah, it might be over for this video, but things are just getting started.